Hello and welcome. My name is Laura White, and I am a certified adapted PE educator. This is my presentation on orienteering. If you like scavenger hunts, then you will like orienteering. What is orienteering? Orienteering is a thriving and rapidly growing international sport. It involves travel using a map and compass. It's usually a race. It is relatively inexpensive, requiring very little specialist equipment. And it can be pursued at many levels and appeals to all age groups. And it provides many student benefits. What key words can we associate with orienteering? The following slides define this outdoor sport activity's important vocabulary terms. Control, the thing you must find when orienteering. It can be as simple as a picture of a letter, shape, number, or symbol that students copy down, collect, or a standard orienteering control, an orange and white box kite with a puncher attached to mark a control card. Some controls are electric and mark the time. Control card, a card in which the child records the fact that he or she has found the control. The recording may involve drawing a symbol, writing a number or letter, or writing down whatever appears on that particular control. Compass, an instrument containing a magnetized pointer which show the direction of magnetic north and bearings from it. iPhones have a built-in compass. Lastly, we have the map, which is a representation, usually on a flat surface of the whole or a part of an area. A diagram or other visual representation that shows the relative position of the parts of something. The map shown on the right is a simple route around equipment in a school gym. Now let's listen to Ranger Rob from Volts, which is the virtual outdoor learning teaching support for schools. Knott's Outdoors on orienteering in Pearlthorpe, located in Derbyshire, England.
Hello, Rob here again. Welcome back to our beautiful centre here at Pearlthorpe. I'm standing in the playground on our beautiful campus. Today we're going to work off problem solving. Again, this can be linked to the national curriculum, and we're going to cover basic orienteering. To do orienteering, you will need a pencil, a card, a compass maybe for older children. For younger children, you can have picture controls. You can have basic maps for older children. You can have different types of controls. So you can have historical controls, you can have a punch control. So when you get to, say, number 3, you punch that way. You can also have more official controls at your checkpoints. The first thing we have to do is orientate our map. As you can see, we've got our map here and we've got a compass laid out. The important thing is to make sure we are in the right direction. So as you can see, the map requires this to be north. North is pointing over here. So you turn the map to the compass. You don't turn the compass to the map. Once we've lined that up, we can then slide over like so. So our control is shown by this red circle. It's obviously number 3, and here we have our key, which helps us identify the parts on the map. So here we are at checkpoint number 3. We can see on the key here the black for the building, so we know we are in the right location. We can then take our card, place it into number 3, punch, and now we're ready to go to the next control. Orienteering can be great fun. It can be adapted for your surroundings at your school. It can also be linked to many subjects such as science, maths, history, etc. I hope you have fun in doing your orienteering courses around your school grounds. Now I'm going to go and find my way home. Using my compass. Goodbye.
Now let's look at the different types of orienteering. There's star orienteering, memory star orienteering, score orienteering, point-to-point orienteering, and photo orienteering. Star orienteering. The teacher has a central point from which children proceed to a particular control and then return to get the next piece of information. There are many different controls, and children can be directed to different places. Each map contains only one control point. Each time the children return to the central point, they collect a new map. This can also be performed with photos instead of maps, whereby the children collect a different photo each time they return to the central point. Memory star orienteering. Similar to star and photo orienteering, only this time the children do not take the maps or photos with them. Rather, they must memorize the image point on the map while at a central base, and then try to find the control from memory. They return to the central point and continue the exercise until all controls are found. Score orienteering. The orienteering course involves a number of controls over a large area. The children have a set time to locate as many controls as possible, some quite near and worth 1 point, whereas others are farther away and worth 5 points, and so on. Children need to plan to see how many points they can acquire in the time allowed, risking going for biggies, those worth more points, and missing them or picking off all the small pointers. Point-to-point orienteering. Children must locate a number of controls in a particular order. This can be made more or less challenging depending on the number and distance of the points to be found or the ease of the route to be followed. Last but not least, we have photo orienteering. As an introduction to using controls, the teacher can use photos of the school site. Take a number of recognizable photos of places around the school from unusual camera angles. Use these photos as the controls that children are to find. They may simply locate the site at which the photo was taken, or the teacher may place something for the children to collect, such as a clue letter, to act as evidence of their visit. Now let's watch this video of an orienteering game from PE Pass. It's the physical education, physical activity, and school sport from the Glasgow City Council in Glasgow, Scotland. This game combines different types of orienteering. Can you figure out which ones?
Are we ready? Yeah! Okay, go! So go and find your first one.
Sailing.
Okay, what you want next?
Sailing.
Sailing. Okay, go and find sailing. Well done. What did you find?
E.
So what's next? Weightlifting. Where's weightlifting?
Sailing.
Sailing. Okay, go and find sailing. Wow, good running.
Right, so we've got a kicking. Okay, so what we're looking for next?
Okay, what you want next?
Volleyball, where did I see that?
Yeah. You have to remember the letter.
Try that again, right? Well done. Right, come on. This way.
Looking for the longest word.
Yeah.
See if you can find the longest word from all the letters that you can see.
If you write them all in a row there, it makes it easier to see.
Wait, are we trying to see this one?
Not find the
Right, have you got the longest word yet? You trying?
We carry that because that's meat, so you can't make meeting. Oh, that's
What have you got?
making.
Making. Oh, that's a good one. How many letters is that?
Six.
But we don't need
6.
that.
The best one we got so far is 6. There is a 7-letter word.
I think we've got the 7.
Oh, what have you got?
Melting.
Oh, that wasn't the one I had, but very good. Melting.
Talking.
Okay, so what was your word?
Walking.
Walking.
Making.
Yeah, we did that.
That was very good. Are we ready? On your marks, set, go! Bilal, have you finished?
Yeah.
Wow, excellent. So again, you want to try and put all the letters down, see if you can find the longest word that you can find.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so quick. Well done.
Orienteering allows for full participation by everyone at their own level of performance, and it can be linked to other outdoor activities like ski orienteering, mountain bike orienteering, canoe orienteering, mountain and trail orienteering, underwater orienteering, mounted horse orienteering, foot orienteering, urban orienteering, and geocaching. What is geocaching? Well, it's a high-tech related activity to orienteering that uses the GPS off of your phone for enjoying a type of treasure hunting. Let's listen now and watch this geocaching introduction video from geocaching.com.
Geocaching is an any-day, anytime adventure that can take you to amazing and beautiful places, or even just to a place in your town that you've never been before. There are millions of geocaches worldwide. There are probably even some near you right now. Yes, you. To start finding them, just get out your phone or GPS. Go ahead. I'll wait. Then, create a free geocaching account and you're ready to go. The way it works is simple. Just choose the geocache you want to find, then navigate to its location. What you're looking for varies. Geocaches come in different sizes, shapes, and difficulties. Geocaching isn't always easy, so it's okay to get excited when you discover the cache. After finding it, sign the logbook. Trade knickknacks if you want, and log your find online. When you're done, just put the geocache back where you found it, and you're on to the next one. Hey, it's the other way. There's an adventure happening all the time, all around you. Become a part of it at geocaching.com.
How popular is orienteering? Let's look at first its history internationally and nationally. Then we will discover all the orienteering clubs in the US of A. Let's start with the broad scale of international orienteering history. The International Orienteering Federation, IOF, is the international governing body of the sport of orienteering. The IOF head office is located in Karlstad, Sweden. The IOF governs 4 orienteering disciplines: foot orienteering, mountain bike orienteering, ski orienteering, and trail orienteering. The IOF was founded on May 21, 1961, at a congress held in Copenhagen, Denmark, by the Orienteering National Federations of Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, Denmark, the Federal Republic of Germany, the German Democratic Republic, Finland, Hungary, Norway, Sweden, and Switzerland. By 1969, the IOF represented 16 countries, including its first two non-European member federations representing Japan and Canada. And in 1977, the IOF was recognized by the International Olympic Committee. It has membership, and as of January 2016, the membership of the IOF comprises 80 national orienteering federations, of which 56 are members, 24 are provisional members, divided into 6 geographical regions. Now let's look at the national level of orienteering history in the USA. Orienteering USA, OUSA, formerly United States Orienteering Federation, USOF, is the national governing body for orienteering in the United States. It is recognized by the International Orienteering Federation and the United States Olympic Committee. It was founded on August 1, 1971. Orienteering USA is a 501 nonprofit organization. There are 68 current member clubs and over 1,500 members. Orienteering has military roots, and please excuse any name pronunciation errors. The first known competitive orienteering events in the U.S. were held from 1941 to 1943 in New Hampshire by a Finnish Army officer named Piltti Heiskanen. There were military orienteering events at West Point Military Academy in New York State by 1966 and at Quantico Marine Base in Virginia by 1967, where the Marine Corps Physical Fitness Academy's first public event was held on July 12, 1968, on Harold Wibbe's color orienteering map, the first such map in the English-speaking world. This was also the origin of the Quantico Orienteering Club, currently the largest and most active club in the U.S. The Norwegian Wibbe also hosted the first known public competitive orienteering event in the U.S. at Valley Forge in Pennsylvania on November 5, 1967. From this event would emerge another large club in the U.S., the Delaware Valley Orienteering Association. In continuing with the USA's orienteering history, the most influential early benefactor to and promoter of the U.S. map and compass use and orienteering, and easily the most well-read author on these topics, was Björn Kjellström, a 1930 Swedish orienteering champion. From his events with Scouts as early as 1946 to his guidance and support in the 1990s, he provided impetus and inspiration. His map and compass events from 1965 to 1967 in Westchester County, New York, had competitive orienteering courses added in 1968 by Wibbe. Bill Gookin's first events in 1969 in the San Diego area were the earliest known competitive public orienteering events west of the Mississippi. Kjellström assisted several Quantico officers in establishing the U.S. Orienteering Federation in 1971. The early 1970s would see the founding in part by orienteering book author Hans Bankston of the New England Orienteering Club, the largest in the U.S. from the late 1970s through the 1980s. Now let's take a quick peek at the orienteering clubs in the United States organized alphabetically. We start off in Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, and Delaware. We continue with the District of Columbia, Florida, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, and Maryland. We move on to Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, and North Carolina. We continue with Ohio, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Texas, Vermont, Virginia, and Utah. We conclude our national orienteering clubs with the states of Washington, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. The student benefits from participating in orienteering are many. Let's take a look at them. Based on the National Association for Sport and Physical Education's NASPE, National Physical Education Content Standards 2014, under Standard 1 demonstrates competency in a variety of motor skills and movement patterns. When participating in sport orienteering, proper technique is important, along with the mixture of mental and physical challenges. Under Standard 2 applies knowledge of concepts, principles, strategies, and tactics related to movement and performance. Cognitive understanding plays a major role in orienteering. Orienteering teaches students to have clear goals and to work hard and constructively to achieve those goals, applying it to varied situations. Orienteering NASPE benefits. In Standard 3, demonstrates the knowledge and skills to achieve and maintain a health-enhancing level of physical activity and fitness. As a byproduct of orienteering, moving fast requires speed, agility, and strength, attributing to healthy cardiovascular endurance and general fitness with the need to incorporate speed and fitness with navigational skills. In Standard 4, exhibits responsible personal and social behavior that respects self and others in physical activity settings. Working in pairs or in small groups promotes responsibility to their surroundings, encouraging an awareness and appreciation of the environment. It promotes learning on how to work together when interpreting information, making decisions, and progressively mastering new techniques. In addition, it promotes the importance of teamwork and the need, in order to be successful, of being respectful to others' interests and aptitudes. Orienteering NASPE and cross-curriculum link benefits. Standard 5 recognizes the value of physical activity for health, enjoyment, challenge, self-expression, and/or social interaction. In orienteering, finding sites and objects through successful map reading leaves students with an authentic sense of achievement, fostering self-reliance and confidence. Cross-curriculum links include geography, for example, using maps and interpreting contours, fieldwork techniques, cartography, designing maps, physical and environmental geography. Mathematics, for example, measuring and locating shapes in space, estimating distance, determining direction and scale, handling data. History, for example, famous explorers, origin of the compass and its use in early navigation. Language arts, for example, creative writing, technical terms and symbols, and expressive arts, for example, making your own orienteering equipment, making three-dimensional models for contour maps. Key PE Sports in London, England provides a high-quality scheme of work that aligns with the NASPE National Physical Education Content Standards. It was developed by their team of qualified primary school teachers with a background in leading primary PE. Key PE Sports allows teachers access to hundreds of lesson plans, year-long group skill charts to monitor pupil progression, and an instructional planning page. Let's take a look now at Orienteering Key PE Sports.
Today we're going to do some orienteering, and we're going to be looking at using a map and following different lines through these cones, okay? So, we've got a north arrow. You've got to make sure that that's always pointing to the wall. Big thing, go and stand on that cone there, what's circle? Go and stand on the cone. If you think he's right, put your hand up. Is he right?
Yeah.
Fantastic, well done, come and sit down. An extra 2, try go, 1.
As well as Key PE Sports, there are other orienteering teacher resources. One in particular is the Primary Schools Sports Initiative. Primary School Sports Initiative's Outdoor and Adventure Activities ONAA strand comes from the program developed by Maura Coulter of St. Patrick's College, Dublin City University in Dublin, Ireland, which was created to assist classroom teachers and is one of the most successful outdoor programs used today. Orienteering and other PE resources for teachers, which include lesson plans and available supporting resources / materials, can be found at //pssi.pdst.ie/strand.html. The picture on the right is what you'll find at that website. This invaluable resource includes support materials for 6 strands of the physical education curriculum for primary schools. Access the strands and class levels you require. Just click with your mouse on one of the buttons. For orienteering, you're going to click on the Outdoor and Adventure strand button. Although these resources are geared for elementary, each lesson can be modified and adapted for adapted PE students for any grade level. An example of this is shown on the following slides. Taken out of the Outdoor and Adventure Orienteering strand from the Primary School Sports Initiative, this lesson makes a great perceptual motor and locomotion APE sample lesson. Reading from left to right, starting at the top on orienteering, the objective would be to find objects or areas by following a simple plan. Follow a snake walk, and using peer partners, peer mentors, lead another child around the course. One of the children records this route on an unmarked plan. Introduce map to ground orientation, spatial awareness, and teach the language. For example, around, behind, between, and outside. The venue would be a hall, gym, or a classroom. This can be repeated outdoors using portable items. Now, in this sample lesson, there are plan equipment signs. There is a 3 large triple X to mark the front of the room. You are going to need to enlarge and laminate a copy of the plan of venue. You are going to need some unmarked plans, snake walks, 1 per pair. 1 copy of the same snake walk per child. Samples are provided. You are going to need bean bags, and equipment needs are listed in the plan. Photocopiable samples of all necessary resources can be found at the end of this lesson. This is from the reference Primary School Curriculum 1999, Physical Education, page 33, Physical Education Teacher Guidelines, pages 91 through 93. Have wheelchair and gait trainer users move or be pushed along snake walk alongside trail of beanbags. Each lesson contains a description and detail page. This slide shows this lesson's organization, activity, stages, and teaching points card, which makes delivering this lesson easy. This is the activity card plan master, which illustrates in the key the equipment needed for this lesson. You will need a tennis racket, 4 cones, 1 box, and 1 hula hoop, and the positioning of this equipment for your snake walks. This is the activity card showing 4 different snake walk routes that you can photocopy and cut out. Many individuals with disabilities participate and enjoy orienteering. Here are some pictures of some orienteering athletes from international trail orienteering competitions. Among the orienteering opportunities available, individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing can find orienteering information and events at the following websites: deaforienteering.org, usdeafsports.org, CISS.org, which is the International Committee of Sports for the Deaf, and Deaflympics. Adding a human story piece to this presentation, I have interviewed outdoor adventure enthusiast Nicole E. White on her personal orienteering experiences. Hi, I'm Laura White, and this is Nicole White. She is an adventure outdoor enthusiast, and we're very lucky to have her here today. Nicole, would you please share with our viewers a brief idea of your involvement with outdoor and adventure activities and sports, like job titles, duties, and volunteer activities?
Yes, I absolutely love anything outdoor related. I have a lot of experience with hiking and camping. With my volunteer time with the Boy Scout troop as a Boy Scout leader, we would go camping, river rafting, kayaking, snowboarding. They have routine trips that they go out and they do at least one a month. Some are overnight, some are not, including backpacking. And then I also worked for a number of years as an outdoor education assistant / substitute naturalist and lifeguard in the summertime for LAUSD. They have 2 particular locations, one up in the LA forest and the other one is out in San Pedro. So I have a lot of experience in the outdoors, outdoor enthusiast.
Okay, thank you. Describe your involvement and experience with orienteering as a professional camp leader. What did the campers have to do? What was the objective? What equipment was used? Was it timed? Was it difficult or easy?
The day-to-day is kind of outlined and specifically what the students were going to do. So we would designate maybe an hour or 2 for a morning activity down in San Pedro where the students were brought in and grouped at tables. And we would run through PowerPoint on what they were going to be doing. It's kind of like a group building activity. You know, what is a GPS unit, what they would be doing, and just so that they would have an understanding of the GPS orienteering. So then at the end of the PowerPoint, they were given a GPS unit and a group leader such as myself, and a particular number, and there would be a numbered path outlined, it pre-designated within the GPS unit, and they would click that number and they would go out into the facility on foot and have to find that control point. The GPS would outline how many feet, so if they were going forward and the distance to that particular point increased, and they knew they were going the wrong way, and they would try to go a different way until they reached that particular point. The facility was very spread out, so they would have a particular unit that let's say would be an anchor in the back, or a tree, or a particular rock that they would have to get to. So this particular activity was not difficult. If they had time, then they were able to go ahead and punch in a new number and find a different control, but the activity was relatively easy.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, so you're saying that this particular experience was done with there was a control that they were given to each group.
A GPS unit.
A GPS
They were given
unit.
a handheld GPS.
Okay. Okay, so that's good to know, because I believe your involvement and experience with orienteering as a volunteer was different.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so now this was with the Scouts, right?
What was with the Scouts?
This experience as a volunteer.
Yes.
Okay, and what was the objective? What equipment was used? What did the Scouts have to do? Was it timed? Was it difficult or easy? How was this experience different from the other one?
So this particular activity is a little bit more back to basics, not using any sort of electronic device or GPS unit. We had a particular weekend where we had different troops meet at a camp location up in the Tehachapi Mountains, and they were it was basically a weekend based solely on using a compass and topographical maps. So the first day was kind of outline of how to read a map, understanding how a compass works, and on the second day before leaving, which we would have lunch and then leave, so you would have a 4-hour activity in the morning where you were given a map and various control points spread out across this large open facility, kind of like a dry brush area, and we would have to go from location to location just using a map, a compass, and a pencil. And this particular activity was very difficult. It took a lot of time. There were a lot of people all over the place. We would get lost. We would think, we were going in the right direction and then realize that we weren't. So that one was a little bit more complex. I don't think we completed every single location, but it was a great learning activity.
Now, how long did you have to complete this orienteering?
We had about 4 hours, and there were probably anywhere from 20 to 30 different control points spread out. And the control point would be, let's say, a flag tied to a tree or a pole, and then move on to the next one.
Now, how did each group confirm that they made it to each control?
We would just simply mark it down. There wasn't anything specific. Again, there was no electronics involved. In that particular location, I don't even think you have cell service. So.
Okay, so did they have it listed on a piece of paper for each control?
Yeah.
And then next to each control, they could take their pencil and then mark off.
Just mark if they had reached it, yeah.
Okay, well that's good. So let me ask you this. If you could see this outdoor activity, orienteering, be modified for individuals with disabilities, and how?
Yes, I mean, it depends on the physical and intellectual disabilities on the individual, or both, if there is overlap. Physical disabilities, depending if you have persons in wheelchairs, then you're going to need a facility that's open and it's not going to have difficult terrain, is an elevated, flat area that is easily accessible and usable. If that person is either being pushed around in that wheelchair, or they're able to move themselves around. If they have various intellectual disabilities, then maybe they're having a mentor or someone that's there to help guide them and help them complete the orienteering. Of course, making it a fun and an excitable activity that they're able to get out, move around, get that movement in, and be able to follow along, whether they're using a compass or they're using a GPS unit, and they can find different locations, and maybe even making it colorful. Maybe like flags or gifts, or there's a surprise when they get to this location, or there's a surprise when they get to that location.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Nicole, for coming and sharing your your wonderful experience with everybody, and we hope that you come back soon and we can discuss more.
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, thank you. Okay, bye.
The last slide is this presentation's references. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope that this presentation has inspired you to choose orienteering as an APE lesson for student learning activities in the near future.